I found a formula that works for me, a 3-part formula for sustainable motivation. Like when people hear limitless, a lot of people think about the movie, right? Bradley Cooper, Robert De Niro. Bradley goes from zero to hero by taking a pill. All of a sudden he has incredible focus. He wrote his book in a few days. He had this eidetic memory, right? And he had a surge of motivation. But after that pill wore off, 24 hours later, he just went back to baseline, right? And I feel like there's a 3-part formula for motivation. Sustainable motivation for me is 3 parts. It's P times E times S3. P times E times S3 will get you there. Meaning that if you are procrastinating, putting things off, think about anything, right? And also when we're talking about lies of learning, the 7 lies, there's also lies around motivation. Like I think one of the lies, limited ideas that we entertain is that we have to enjoy the action. Like the only proof and evidence somebody's motivated is they're doing something to get progressed towards that goal, right? If they're not doing it, they're not motivated. So that's obvious, physical, you could observe that, right? So, like objectively. Now, one of the lies that I feel like I learned also from you is that you have to enjoy that thing that you're motivated to do. Like I know because I follow you on Instagram very closely that you're working out and you get up early and then you do it. But I asked you one time, do you enjoy it? And the response you gave me was like, you hated it. Now, I don't know if you feel about that like that now, currently, but this was a couple of years ago, but you still do it. So nobody could question your motivation because you're still doing that early in the morning when you dislike it. So it's a lie that you have to enjoy that thing. Like every morning, I take cold showers. I take ice baths every freaking morning, right? Without fail. I never, ever miss it. Right, I'll go cold, then I'll go warm and cold and warm. Or I'll go, people watch me on Instagram, I'll do 5 minutes in a full ice bath. And I hate it. I hate every moment of it. I grew up in the Northeast. I hate it. But I do it because I have a reason. So the P in this formula is purpose. Like I believe that, and it's not just intellectual reason for doing something. It's feeling it in your whole self, right? And I have a reason to do it because I'm on this mission, right? And this purpose, right? I want to, in fact, positively impact 1 billion brains, right? No brain left behind. So I'm very, very clear. So my reason is there, and it's not just intellectual, and it's not just pleasurable. I feel like the pain of who I would let down if I don't do this. Like I feel it because I'm that person. Like I still feel like I'm speaking right now on this video to that 18-year-old version of myself or that 13-year-old version of myself. And after you do it for so long, you just don't know any other way. But that's the P in the formula. And then what I did was like scientific method. If I was going to build the ultimate human being who's motivated all the time without fail, is reason enough? Like if someone has a deep enough reason, are they always going to be motivated? Is there any exceptions? And I was like, yes, the E is missing. They could be missing energy. Meaning that a lot of people could be so tuned into their reason and know why it's important to work out every day or to read every day or you name it, right? But they ate a lot of crappy food and they're in a food coma. That might keep them from working out, or they didn't sleep the night before. Not having the proper level of vitality, physical and mental vitality, could keep you from being motivated. And then I went back into my, thought experiment. Okay, the person has deep reasons. They feel it for wanting to build this business or have that great relationship or that great body. They have unlimited energy. Are they 100% every single time going to be motivated? And I was like, no, there's an exception here. There's something missing. S3, and I'll tell you what S3 is in a moment, but they could have that thing too big in their head. Like, oh, I'm gonna build an entertainment company. But they're not motivated because it's too big, right? Or it's confusing, right? And so a confused mind doesn't do anything. So S3 stands for a small, simple step, right? I want to have the perfect body. I want to build this $1 million company. Then that could be too intimidating or too confusing or unclear, and people never take the action. So a small, simple step, and breaking it down into what's the smallest task you could do right now where you can't fail that's going to give you progress. And it's all about energy management, because think about motivation. It's energy management. having a purpose and a reason gives you clarity, gives you energy. The things I talk about in the whole chapter of the book on how to optimize sleep and optimal brain diet and lowering stress, because chronic stress saps your energy, right? It shrinks your brain. Right now, with all the fear going on, this pandemic, it's not just a physical pandemic. I mean, people have their physical hygiene, wash your hands and social distancing. People have no strategies for mental hygiene. Right? And this chronic fear is like, it wreaks havoc on our immune system, right? This whole area of neuroimmunology, how our thoughts could affect our body, stress levels and cortisol and adrenaline, not only does it shrink the brain, but you're right, it shuts off big portions of your critical thinking. And you talked about it yesterday also on the live. There are parts of your brain that determine how to feel about something. Right? So you lose your autonomy because then you just react to things. And again, you gave away your power. But for me, and I know this is field tested, not only with working with clients, but also myself. When I have no sleep, it doesn't matter what you eat, right? It doesn't matter if you're working out or not. That's like the master energy control center. So for me, I would always lean into my practices because it forced me to double down. Now, I think there's a gift. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's been my experience where when people go through struggles, that there's a gift in this. Like whether there's a gift in what's going on right now, true or false, I choose to believe it, because then I'll operate from that point of view and that perspective, meaning what's the gift in me having learning challenges and fearful of public speaking? Well, I got really damn good at learning and public speaking because that's all I do now for a living, right? What was the advantage that came out of this sleep deprivation experiment for 10 years? Now it's much better. Is I could tell you two things immediately. It forced me to double down on everything I teach because I'm just documenting and telling people what I do, right? Otherwise, I won't be able to perform at the level that I do. And then number two, it's forced me also to be very selective in the things I say yes to. Like right now, there's nowhere I'd rather be, no one I'd rather be talking to right now, because as we heard, like I'm so clear, because when you have a finite amount of energy and wherewithal, and vitality or bandwidth, you don't say yes to a lot of things, right? And so for me, I just focus on the things that I feel like this, I'm completely here. And wherever I am, I'm completely there. When I talk about mindset, for me, functionally, it's this set of assumptions and attitudes we have about something, right? What would fall underneath mindset would be what we believe is possible. What would fall under mindset is what we believe we are capable of. What would fall under mindset is what we believe we deserve even. Somebody could be very motivated, they can even have the right methods, but they're going to bump up to a psychological ceiling of what they think they're worth financially, or maybe they'll even self-sabotage potentially.